はい、どうもメガロです。アウターワールドラストかなこれは。タルタロスドッキング施設へ移動します。これでいきます。さあ、考えられる限りの強化はしたよ。広いね。ああ、でも撃ち殺すって言ってた割に意外と平和。ID 必要です、評議会。まあもうやっちまいますか。はい、ドン。もう一発。もう一発。はい。はい。はい。はい。早いね。早い。動き早いね。帰って。はい。弾ちょうだいね。痛いな。またフォーフォーしてるな。なにああ、戦える。全然戦える。はい。オッケー。はいはいはいはい。よしよしよし。あと1体。じゃない、全然いる。全然いっぱいいる。はい。オッケー。値下げ。はい、こんにちは。はい。回収タイム。いやー、入り口にしてこの量ですか。強化してきてよかった。全然バイパスしてないよね。さて、かかってきなさい。誰もいない。そうね。
I'm not too keen on walking into a prison. They lock me up, I'm liable to kill everyone trying to get back out.
後ろかな。広いけど大騒ぎにはなってないみたいだね。ID ないから変装できない。こんにちは。はいはいはいはいはいはい。ゾンビフォックス。ああ、銃声ガンガンしてんのに いいんだね。いいならいいんだけど。うわよ。リロード中です。外す。アサルトライフォー。はいはいはいはいはい。さあ本格的に始まっちゃったよ。よしよしよし。リロード。すごいやってるな。オッケー。意外と硬いね。よしよし。ナイスエリ。なんだ後ろ。よしオッケー。オッケー。ああ。アイテム集めてる暇がない。なになにどうしたの？ああ、全滅かな。さて、この先。ピットへ移動します。ああ、いけるね。変なボスみたいなの出てこなきゃ。あれ、平和。先手必勝ですよ。はい。ほら、まだまだ。はい。はい。はい。はい。そこ、ああ、まだ。はい。リロード。動きが早い。動きが早い。よし。次。はい。はい。頑張ってるが、ニョカたちが。ニョカ。よし。終わり？ああ、そこに医療ドローンが。ああ、よくないね。開かない。ああ、弾ちょうだいね。今ビット集める必要あるかな。はい、終わり。本当はね、今これ打ちたかったんだけどね。エイム力のなさが。ああ、仲いいね。さて。はい。いつの間に。なんだ。ああ、警報鳴った。ナイスワン。よしよしよし。次反対。そこだ。 あ、なんかネームドみたいにいる。さてー、あー、一方的に攻撃できる。ここは当たらんぞ。はい、ありがとう。はい、ありがとう。あとはなんだ、上か。ああ、一掃した。なんで偶像破壊主義が。評価なんてもう関係ないぜ。いやいや、あれ敵じゃない。協力してくれてんのか。いやー、やっちゃった。一人。はい、こんにちは。そこに立ってると危ないよ。いたのか、後ろに。弾は全然ある。何にもない。さて、いるでしょう。高いね。ああ、ふわふわしてる。リロードタイム。痛がってる場合じゃないよ。さあ次、ラスト1体。よくやったエリ。いいヘイト稼ぎだった。さて、普通に開かない。封鎖解除。あれ、ロックウェル議長。ここで128シーンも取ってたのか。
Ah, and the wayward doctor. Are you about done with your escapades? We have faces that need lifting after all.
These days, I'm more interested in breaking them. Wouldn't mind taking a swing at yours.
おいよ。
Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
Keep talking, and you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens.
きっとロックウェル議長だ。
My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man. 勘弁してくれ。フィニアスは強調するぐらいなら死を選ぶぞ。Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a working-class man. It's a miracle. あの変人はあんたが諦めた冷凍睡眠中の入植者を救っている。Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through, but it's done. It's over. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society?
At least that means someone's recognizing our work.
I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery. You're just getting in the way.
そんなことは正直考えたこともなかったな。ただ助けようとしているだけさ。
That's because you don't think ahead. Phineas's counterproductive plan doesn't make a lick of sense. We don't need your help.
おー、いけるこれ。もうあんたに対抗するためビザンチウムに招集をかけた。時間の問題だ。
You have? Is that what you were doing at the ministry? Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle as it were, and make it out of here with Phineas alive, I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've already caused.
おー、
If you survive,
コロッと騙された
to
ね。
sell the rest of the board on your plan.
それでいい。あんたがいい結果をもたらす。あ、なんだ。あ、まあいいか。ここで命令を待ってろ。フィニアース生きてるかー。いたね。ああ、一体どころじゃないよ、こっちは。はい、こんにちは。よいしょ。ちょっとなんか引っかかってるよ。ちょっと邪魔だね。ああ、やられた。はい、復活。さて、ああ、こんにちは。守っといて、そこ。守っといて、そこ。
Guess this is it, huh?
Take a breath now, folks. Once we're up there, I suspect we ain't gonna have time to stop shooting.
ああ、来ました。
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for
ああ、
complicating
フィ
my
ニアスいる
life.
ね。
You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
もう終わったんだ、ソフィア。身を引いて。
I'm afraid I can't do that. You're a gifted warrior, Captain. You've made your talent for combat abundantly clear. For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon, and therefore you are my enemy.
フィニアスのために来ただけだ。彼を生かしてやってくれ。
You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No. Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him. All that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of saving this colony.
できんのか？この話をしようってなんだろう。
Fair enough. I'm giving you exactly one chance to parley with me.
ああ、省庁での実験を破壊した。あんたの計画は二度と機能しない。
Yes, I'm quite aware of your brazen act of corporate vandalism. By the way, those test subjects you killed,
いやー、やめろ。そうい
they
うこと
died
言う
in
な。
agony. My scientists assure me they can recover the data you've destroyed. You've succeeded in temporarily delaying our research. Nothing more.
いけない。あ、これいけるね。あの実験の進め方はひどかった。あんたが集めたデータはみんなデータラメだ。
That isn't true. It can't be. You're trying to manipulate me. That experiment was absolutely essential to the program. My scientists assured me they were close to a breakthrough. They gave me their word.
何が問題なんだソフィア。自分が抱える専門家に嘘をつかれるのに慣れてないんだな。
Don't you mock me. I won't stand here listening to you gloat. We're going to have to start all over again. All that research, all those experiments, you've set us back decades. You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you, but you threw your lot in with that madman, Phineas Wells.
100。もう話は十分だ。型をつけよ
This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on site and rinse your remains
う。や
down a
ったろう
drain.
じゃないの。
And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically or something.
オッケー。それね。意外とちっちゃいな。さあ、やってこうかい。あ、でもしか、おお、ちょっと聞いてない、それは。びっくりしたよ、今。すんごい速度だったな。いやー、エリーとニョコがいるうちに。あれ、もう結構だよ。あー、なんか出てきてる。先にそいつ。はい、終わり。あれどうかんすかぎ。あれあっさり塩味。イニアス。おい、いいのか、そんなんで。弱い。そうだね。大丈夫か、フィニアス。あれちょっと待って、これ大丈夫？使うって違うよね。あれちょっと待って。これガチャンってやったらこれビビビビビってなんないかな。いやー大丈夫かこれ。違う、解放したいんだよ俺。はい。ああよかった。
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
大丈夫か？奴らに何をされた？
I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated.
全く嬉しくない話だな。
Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
They haven't exactly been hands-on around here anyway. So there's one less rubber stamp to worry about.
Earth is humanity's home planet, Miss Fenhill. The psychological effects of losing our original home will be devastating.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
ああ、これからやることがたくさんあるな。仕事に取り掛かるのが一番だ。
Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us?
どうしよう。影で機械を支配するっていう。それは良くないね。そうね。任せてくれ。あんたが他の入植者を復活させるのを手伝おう。
I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves. But I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together, somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best.
仲間たち復活するのかな。おっと。
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. As the colony struggled to survive, the inspirational story of the iconoclasts spread like wildfire, and Graham was able to bring many of the smaller Terra-2 townships into the fold. However, his zealous obsession with spreading the word blinded him to the needs of a growing organization, and the movement was unsustainable at scale. The iconoclast way seemed to work best, and ultimately petered out on Monarch. Sublight Salvage adapted to the changes in Halcyon, shifting their business model to suit the times. Their claims of legitimacy were scrutinized, but ultimately unquestioned. Lilia Hagen would continue to protect her family as ruthlessly as ever. After returning to Edgewater, the deserters negotiated workplace reforms with Reed Dobson, including a single day of rest, which came to be known as a weekend. As the world around him changed, Thompson found himself pining for the old days. He was known to spend his weekends in the cantina, nursing one of the few remaining bottles of Zero G, and repeating to himself, "It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice." As for Adelaide McDevitt, she tended to her garden in solitude for another year before passing away. Her body was discovered some months later, when Reed Thompson paid her a visit in an effort to make amends. Her remains were buried in a place of honor, underneath the floor of the Edgewater Cannery. Reed believed this was what she always wanted. Junlei Tennyson fought to protect the Groundbreakers' independence. While the board's influence faded, mechanical difficulties forced her to rely on parts that only corporations could provide. The cost was high, and time would tell if Junlei could balance the work with her aspirations for a better future. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Ellie savored her adventures on the Unreliable. Once they were done, she returned to life as usual, running missions of dubious legality, shunning respectable work, and living life to the fullest. She meant to reach out to her one-time captain, but she was always bad at keeping in touch. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. Before his untimely death, Captain Alex Hawthorne had plans to restore and modify, for combat purposes, a sanitation and maintenance automechanical that he'd found in a state of disrepair in Emerald Vale's scrapyard. That unit remained broken down and forgotten in the Unreliable supply closet to this day. Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. Chairman Rockwell served as the public face for the changes in Halcyon to come. Whenever you needed strings pulled or a voice to sell a policy change, Rockwell was only too happy to oblige. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, The Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
はい。アウターワールドエンディングでございます。いやー、ウェルズいいやつでよかった。あとスペーサーズチョイスね。週休1日だけども改善したようでよかったわ、あの星だけは。あとやっぱ仲間、最後の一人は分かんなかったけど、なんか元船長が復活したがってたって言ってたから、あのマシンのことだったのかもしれないね。全然気づかなかったけど、直したら仲間になってた的なことになってたのかもしれないね。はい。まあ今までの選択が多分エンディングのナレーションに繋がっていくんだろうけど、グッドエンドなのかバッドエンドなのかよくわかんないけど、結果良かったっぽいよね。ハルシオン救われたって言ってたしね。まあ今までの選択が多分やってる人によって全然違うところに行き着くんで、エンディングも多分いっぱいあるんだろうね、これね。はい。ということでまた他のゲームで遊んでいきたいと思います。ありがとうございました。